crap! Oh! Oh, I didn't know they were gonna go. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. Hi everybody, I'm Sammy Gonzalez, aka the Mexcellence, and today, another episode of Mex Ain't Seen It. That's right, I'm back. So for those of you who don't know anything about me, here's a little bit of backstory. I'm Sammy Gonzalez, graduate of the University of California, Santa Barbara, with a degree in film and media studies. But I actually haven't seen a lot of movies. I was on a whole other website for 125 episodes, and I still haven't seen much. And today, I'm going down a path I've been wanting to go down for a long, long time. And that's with Chicano movies. And what I mean by that are movies inspired by, based on, and made by Chicanos. Now, I'm not even sure if that's the right phrase. No one's told me they keep changing the phrases, but Chicano's the closest thing that I can identify with, I think. Chicanos, Latinos, Latinas, Chicanas, Latinx, if that's a term that you enjoy. I don't know how to say it. There's an X and is it a Z? I'm so confused. Somebody help me. Put it down below in the comments. What am I? I don't know if I'm offending everybody watching this right now. The point is, I want to show that Mexicans and Mexican Americans have been a part of the American movie scene since the beginning. And so to kick us off, we're going to go ahead and start with a movie I've never seen before, 1987's La Bamba. Now, I know a lot of you out there are like, dude, how old are you? How have you not seen La Bamba? Everybody's seen La Bamba. I know you're gonna be saying that a lot in the future. Trust me, don't get mad, just wait. I'll watch all the movies you need me to watch. I just never got around to seeing it. But there is one thing I do know about this film, and it is legendary in my family, probably in families everywhere, that the ending of this movie will make you cry. Now, I already know the ending, I know history, I know the day that music died, so I don't know if it's gonna get the huge cry factor like it did all of my female siblings and cousins. But I'm not too machismo to cry, so you know what? If I cry, it'll be on camera because I will be live recording my reaction to me watching the film for the first time. So in a few moments, you'll be getting my live reaction and review. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for 1987's La Bamba.
Holly is lining up a plane to fly us on to Fargo tonight. Hey, come on, let's go!
But one tragic night in 1959, his star fell.
Not Richie!
That's not even fair. That is not even fair. All right, I'm already almost teary-eyed just watching it, knowing what's gonna happen. So, you know what? This is me going in right before watching this movie. So, you know what? I'll see you guys on the other side after I watch it. So, yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side. So I'm back from watching the movie, totally not 3 weeks later, totally not inhibited by the fact that I had a shoulder injury by falling off of a scooter here in Austin. So I'm back after watching the movie, and to start, if you want to see me do more Latino reviews, go ahead, hit the like button, hit it again, hit it a third time, it's the triple like. Go ahead and do all that. Also, be sure to subscribe down below, go ahead and do all that stuff, support me, support the Mexcellence, help me get to 1,000 so I can make those fat checks, those big old YouTube checks. Also, one last bit of support. I made a new t-shirt. If you want to check out the Aztec Spider, totally not copyrighted by Disney's, Marvel's, Sony's, The Spider-Boy Adventures, very far from where you live, in theaters now. Just be sure to go to mexmerch.com and you can go ahead and support us there. But back to the movie review. La Bamba, man. Now, I knew it was going to be a heartstrings tugging movie. I knew it was going to get me in the feels, but this movie did not have to come at me like it did. All right. Sammy, don't cry. Don't cry. The trailer almost got you. The movie can't. Let's do this. I mean, holy cow, I was not expecting it to get me in the ways that it actually did get me. Yeah, of course, I know I live in the world we live in. I know that he dies at the end. But there was a complete other storyline and storylines that were just getting to me, man. And they were making me feel just... well, let's get into it. Now, I did another show on another network where I did 130 American classics and or really bad movies. And that show was great. I loved doing that show. But I noticed one thing throughout the whole majority of them was that it was very hard to find a Latino, Latina, Mexican, Cuban, whatever. It was hard to find a character that looked like me. And the thing was, the one that comes to mind, the most iconic Latino Mexican character that I found was played by a Jewish woman. I'm not even joking. I think her name was Ramirez, and it was in Aliens 2. She is like totally badass, that character, but she's played by a Jewish woman. Now, I don't know how bad that is. That's probably really bad. So that's why I wanted to go back and watch movies that have characters that look like me, that tell stories that I think I'm a little bit more familiar with. So starting this whole series about a kid from Pacoima who becomes a rock star over the course of like 8 months and then dies tragically, I think that's a good place to start. Also, the director of this movie, Luis Valdez, who we'll probably be doing a lot more of on this series, he's from Delano, California. That's like an hour away from my hometown. These are things and these are stories and these are people that are very similar to me, that have upbringings that are similar to mine. So to start with this movie, I knew I was going to be sad. I knew that he was going to blow up in a plane crash. I knew it was going to be awful and sad and miserable. But I didn't know the circumstances of the plane crash. So in the beginning, they show a plane crash above a middle school that like crashes into all these students. And I thought that that was the actual event in which he died. Oh, crap! Oh! Oh, I didn't know they were going to go... I didn't think they were gonna do that. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. So after doing a little bit of research, I found that that was a crash from Ritchie Valens' childhood. And that, according to the movie, killed one of his friends and also kind of stoked his fear of flying. And that's a theme they are going to hammer into you until you are sick of it. That's kind of a fault in this movie. We know he's afraid to fly. But shortly after a brief intro, we see Richie and his mom and his maybe guest girlfriend, not girlfriend.
Rosie, this is my brother Bob.
So why did you wait a year to join us?
Uh-oh. Scandal! So immediately I start getting confused because, okay, Richie is dating Rosie. Then his brother Bob shows up on a motorcycle looking like a badass. Says, Mom, we're moving out of this dump. I got some money from selling drugs.
Hey, I've been working, okay? Why can't you believe me for once?
Huh.
We're getting out of this hole tomorrow.
Okay, Richie, you're my little brother. I'm here to take care of you, bro. But I'm going to steal your girlfriend and I'm going to do nasty, nasty things to her. And it's going to get really awkward really quickly. And we'll get into Bob and Rosie as the review goes along. But I just have to say, those two characters are a train wreck, man. Every time they were on camera, I was just nervous. I was just instinctively nervous from the get-go because I knew Bob was up to no good. Yo, isn't that his... That ain't right. That ain't right at all. And then Rosie, I mean, I don't know what to feel about her because, I mean, she just gets physically beaten on, but throughout the movie, she is just beaten down to her core. And, like, there was, like, no redemption. There's, like, no positivity in her story. But we'll get to all that later. I mean, the whole thing starts with Bob shrugging off the fact that Rosie's first time was in the bushes somewhere, and he didn't even bother to ask if it was.
Why didn't you tell me this was your first time?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Didn't ask.
Oh,
Coming, Richie?
Oh, crap. And I thought there was going to be some sort of love triangle between Richie, Bob, and Rosie, but then that just kind of goes away. It's just kind of like, okay, Richie's like, fine, my brother does this all the time. I'm going to go ahead and find a new girl. So Richie's like, okay, I guess I don't have a girlfriend anymore. I'm going to go flirt with the new girl. And I have to say, Ritchie Valens, as portrayed by Lou Diamond Phillips, is a square. Oh, he is the biggest square, but it's lovely.
Hi. Hi.
Slick.
Mind if I walk with you, Donna?
Sure.
I'm not supposed to be seen with Mexicans.
Bye. Donna.
You corny! And yeah, he is corny, but Lou Diamond Phillips' portrayal of Ritchie Valens is just absolutely charming, man. He takes writing that is very heavy-handed. He takes writing that is very on the nose, and he just performs it in a way with just such starry-eyed appeal, such like youthful, like, sweetness and tenderness that you can't help but like the guy. And even if you know what's gonna happen, you're still rooting for him the whole time. And then you go, oh, there's gonna be some racism in here, and it does come. It's not as bad as you think it is, but it does come. So now we have that great Ritchie Valens character, but let's switch to his brother Bob for a moment. The movie likes to contrast the golden boy that is Ritchie Valens against his bad boy brother Bob. That's some great alliteration. But the bad part about that is that we know Ritchie Valens' story is so tragic, and so they choose to portray him like the perfect angel, like he can do no wrong. And so that means in order to contrast that, you have to have Bob, who is equally as tragic, just be as much of a devil as Richie is an angel. And so it's really hard to root for Bob in any sort of way. The only reason why Bob is such a conflicting character on whether you like him or not is because Esai Morales puts on a performance that is probably more charming than Lou Diamond Phillips as Ritchie Valens, which is a feat because Bob as a character, Bob as a person in this movie, not in real life, I don't know the man, but as a person in this movie, he is just the worst. The absolute worst.
I said open the door, goddammit! Open the goddamn door!
Leave me alone!
So the thing is, you're watching this movie mad that you're even entertaining the fact that you may like this character Bob, but that kind of is similar to how the family feels about Bob. They like him, they want to like him, but he's just a bad, bad man. He gets Rosie pregnant, and his reaction in the movie is just like, ooh.
Look, Rosie, you're not my wife, all right?
Dude.
I'm pregnant. Aren't you gonna say anything?
What's there to say? It's not my first or my last.
Yo, you, dude.
Son of a bitch!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rosie, you get him. You get his ass. I wanted to fight that dude. Like, if you get news that you're having a kid, you do not say what he says. But then you'll get this whole other side of him where he's either just really funny, a good supportive brother, or he's just doing things that are so insane. It's like, man, I can't leave this guy on his own. This guy is insane.
And you better keep your ass to the wall because I'm so messed up. I'm gonna take you for Rosie.
Jesus, dude. But then there's that other element that comes in later where he just is portrayed as a neglected child. And it's actually really sad that this is all just him acting out because he didn't get loved enough, essentially. And so it begs the question that what do you do when you have a family member like that, when you have a brother like that, when you're trying to be a star? And that's what the movie does. The movie goes, okay, well, Ritchie Valens joins a new band, and then he usurps the power from the lead singer of the band because he's got connections with his mom.
No, man, I told you, my mom, she set it all up.
Since when is your mama running this band? So let's beat it out of here.
Let's cheese it, yeah. I said cheese it!
Coming or what?
Why does that Asian dude look like he's 75 years old?
I guess it's what?
Power move, Richie. Power move, man. They're gonna play at this great venue. The whole town is supporting him. They got flyers everywhere. His mom's speaking from a loudspeaker, talking about Ritchie Valens and his flying guitar. And it's a great little moment to have Richie being supported by his family and his community. They're making him deplorable, but then like supporting his brother. I'm so conflicted. So conflicted on that character, man. But his brother Bob comes in drunk with all his biker gang friends and messes everything up. Oh, come on, man. Bob, come on, man. And it's like, Bob, can you not please for once? For once, just let Richie have his thing. And that's the crux of their relationship. Bob is supportive of his brother, but he's just so secretly mad at him that Bob feels that he's been given the silver spoon and that Bob's been given scraps. And so you have this thing where he is supportive, he is nice, he does care for his brother, but he's just a flawed person. And you can't fix him, and you can see that he's trying to be better, but ultimately he just struggles throughout the movie to be that. And then for some reason, as he's a garbage man, he goes and he discovers these cartoons, and now he wants to be a cartoonist.
Look at this. It's Woody Woodpecker. Hey, this is the real stuff. They make cartoons out of these things.
Can it, jerk off?
Huh.
It's kitty stuff.
Eat it!
And it's just kind of weird because for me, it might have been real in real life, like the actual Bob might have have been a cartoonist or may have had some art skills. But the fact that you have this guy who's so sex crazed, so angry, so violent, and then all of a sudden he's like, I want to make cartoons. It's a weird juxtaposition, you know? But besides Bob ruining the concert, I mean, they saw Richie play and a big record producer was there and he found Richie and he said, you know what? I want to sign you. But first, let's go ahead and bring you into the studio and see what you're made of. So the record producer goes to Richie's house to offer him the opportunity to sing a few songs. And the interaction that they have and that whole scene in general between, you know, the record producer, Richie's mom, and Richie himself, that I just love that scene. It is just so indicative of kind of why I do the Mexcellence, why I do what I do now, why I'm doing this movie series. It's great.
Buenos dias, senora. Keith Vive Richard Valenzuela.
Yeah, he lives your wife.
My name's Bob Keane. I'm president of Delphi Records in Hollywood. Podemos hablar.
I don't speak Spanish.
Yes! Yes! Hold on, time out. Thank you, Ritchie Valens, for being a Chicano superstar and not knowing Spanish. I mean, yeah, I should probably learn Spanish myself. I'm on like day 157 of Duolingo, but Ritchie Valens is a legend. He's a legend and he didn't speak Spanish. See? There's hope for me yet. There's hope for me yet. And it's like, yeah, I know the 50s were a different time. Like, you'd get beaten up in school if you spoke Spanish. Like, I get it was a much different time. But the point is, as the movie points out, Ritchie Valens is an American product. He is not from Mexico. Yeah, he has family probably from Mexico. His mom, I think, is from Mexico. But he himself is from the United States. He had never even been to Mexico before. He is straight up an American product, but he struggles with that and his heritage because the record industry doesn't want that heritage. So now that he's signed for a couple songs, they're trying them out, you finally get to the music, and whew, it is some good music, man. And we belong together. Oh my god, chills, bro. Look at, I don't know if you can see that. Freaking chills, dude. Now, Los Lobos are the band that actually cover the Ritchie Valens songs in which Lou Diamond Phillips lip syncs to, but their portrayal of the songs, their covers of the songs, are just amazing. They do a really good job with them. These songs just have some sort of magic to them. I don't know if it's just the old style of song, I don't know if it's just the lyrics of them, but there's just like this sweet tenderness to these songs. And so when you're watching this character that you like sing these songs, it's just something that warms your heart in a way that you really can't describe. It's almost like a cheat, you know? It's like a nostalgic cheat, but at the same time, you like the character, you like the songs, the music is good. What's not to like about this? So now that Richie is poised to be a star, he's on his way. Let's go check on Bob for a moment.
Wait, did you trace this or what?
Trace? Hell, man, it's freehand. Look at this.
Yep, still wants to be an artist or something. But now Richie's got a contract. Ricardo Valenzuela is gonna be a big star. He's gonna be the biggest star to ever come. Ricardo Valenzuela. Total big star, right, everybody? Everybody's happy for him. Ricardo. So he goes into his first real recording session, and it is a marathon. Now, the manager he has is supportive, and he's very well-meaning, but the manager does say some ignorant stuff early on in the movie, and in this moment here, when he's talking about the sound of Richie, what he wants to do with the music.
It's gotta be clean, Richie. Each take has to be identical.
Why?
So that we can edit later. Look, this is in Mexico.
Who said it was?
God damn, man.
The tradition of the song, they're always changing the lyrics.
Look, man, I've never even been to Mexico. My music is my music, huh?
Tell him, carnal.
So you kind of know the name change is coming, and you're like, come on, we can handle Ricardo Valenzuela. But in the 50s, you know they couldn't. They couldn't even handle it in the 80s. Mr. Martin Estevez, or Carlos Estevez, or Emilio. Okay, Emilio, you're still cool with me.
Ritchie Valens. How's that grab?
I don't like it.
It's no big deal. People in this business, they change their names like they change wives. Even me, my last name is Kuhn. Look. Trust me on this. It could have been worse. You could have been Ricky Zuela.
That's rough, man. And some of that ignorant stuff he says is just a product of the time. Prime example, remember Donna from earlier, the girl that he was flirting with in high school? Well, her racist dad decided to go take his racism to the next level.
Is Donna in?
No, Donna's not in.
Could you tell her that Richie called again, please?
Yeah, okay.
Like a goddamn jungle music. Need I say more?
The jungle music. Oh my god. So their relationship goes on the rocks because she can't go to his shows. She can't answer the phone. Like, he totally, completely keeps them separated. And that way of thinking starts bleeding into Donna's way of thinking, and they just start going at it. But because Richie's a big ass softie, he writes a song for her. And dang. That's slick, bro. Phone booth serenade, dude. Guys don't do that no more. When's the last time your man has gone in a phone booth, or hell, even on FaceTime or a phone call, and wrote a song about you and performed it for you over the phone? It hasn't happened. It's never happened. If it has, write down below and brag about your boyfriend because he deserves it. But Richie, being brokenhearted because of the racism, he's sad alone in that phone booth, and his brother Bob finds him and says, "Bro, we need to get you laid. Let's go down to TJ." And the way they portray TJ, it's not in the best light, but in my experience, it's still pretty accurate. I mean, I've never been to TJ. I've never been, Mom, if you're watching, I've never been to TJ. Never left the country illegally. Mom.
Don't worry. It smells like fish, but it tastes like chicken.
Man, I'm telling you, hey, this is your manager.
Oh, man. So anyway, they're in TJ because Bob wants to get him a prostitute, and he's totally not wanting to get a prostitute. But in the meantime, one of my favorite scenes happens in this movie because we all know, according at least to this portrayal, that Ritchie Valens was a big dork.
I don't know. You know, it's really hard to choose.
The Bamba. Hey, Richie, come here. Richie, I brought you here to get laid.
He's so corny. I love it. I love that he's that corny. Now, I'm not saying that I was never this corny or that I'm not this corny right now. Maybe replace music with video games and I'd probably have the same reaction. Why have prostitutes when you can have games? But as what happens in TJ, he gets blackout drunk, passes out, ends up in the middle of the desert. It happens. And so he wakes up with a new tattoo and he's at Bob's curandero's house.
He's giving you that. Told him about your nightmares. That talisman will help if you believe in it.
So what I noticed about the scene in particular was that when he puts it on, they kind of have his hands linger around the necklace. So you can notice the necklace underneath it is a Christian cross. And to me, that was a nod to both like the very Catholic part of, you know, Mexican culture, Hispanic culture, and then you also have this indigenous part that has never really left our identity. So when all those influences come together, that's where his conflict is. He's a kid who's supposed to be Mexican, but he's from America. He wants to sing in Spanish, but he doesn't know Spanish. I think it's just one of those interesting things that I can identify personally with because I am Mexican, because that has been kind of my culture. That's what's in my blood. That kind of fighting in between one piece of yourself and another piece of yourself. It's kind of a very subtle moment, but it really does kind of have an impact on me. So while they're in Mexico, Rosie's water breaks and she has her baby. The dad, Bob, is not there. Richie, the whatever he is to her, is not there.
You went to Tijuana without telling anybody? A fine pair of sinvergüenzas. She was all alone in here. I had to drive her to the hospital myself. She was in labor all day with a baby.
What is happening with Rosie? Rosie is I don't know. Does Richie love her, but he loves Donna? Can someone just tell me in the comments down below what the real story behind Rosie is? Because if this is it, this is a super sad story for her. And speaking of Donna, in this mess, the song he wrote for her, he recorded, is now like the #1 sensation. I think it was his biggest hit that he ever had. And what ends up happening is he becomes this big pop star, and the star is rising, and he's going on all these plane trips, and he's super nervous, getting drunk on planes because he just can't handle the stress of it. But he's a success. And while he's flexing his muscle of having the influence, having the money, and having the reputation, he starts going to his manager and is like, hey, I want to sing La Bamba. I was going to hang out with some prostitutes, but I was like, F that. I want to sing La Bamba. And the manager's like, no, you can't do that. You don't even speak Spanish. Valid point.
La Bamba. It's not rock and roll.
It is the way I play it.
No. Rock and roll in Spanish. You gotta be crazy.
No, come on, it'll work. Just let me have a crack.
Yeah.
Even assuming that the side of Donna was a throwaway, how are you gonna handle the lyrics? Come on, you say yourself you can't speak the language.
Hey, if Nat King Cole can sing in Spanish, so can I, right? All right, come on, Bob. What do you say, huh?
Oh, man, I love this.
Abo?
And to me, that's great news because I was singing along with La Bamba phonetically as well. And while he's coming up with all this, they're like, yeah, you're going to American Bandstand. And American Bandstand's like, woo! And he has a big hit and he's just on fire. Everything is amazing. We love Ritchie Valens. Woo! And then Bob shows up again. God damn it, Bob.
I got enough to worry about with Richie.
I know you don't give a goddamn about me. You had me turned in. You had me locked up, you little bitch.
And so then Richie goes on American Bandstand. And then Richie rolls up in a fancy car. It's like, hey, Donna, you want to get back together? And she's like, hell yeah. Then Richie buys his mom a house. And then, the piece de resistance, La Bamba.
Here's a bit of a rattlesnake.
Yeah. So he was just pronouncing it phonetically the whole time too, like me? That's great. That's awesome. Now I know that this is Lou Diamond Phillips lip syncing. I know it's Los Lobos making the music, but watching this scene play out is awesome. Now it's shot very simply. It's not very dynamic in the way it's edited or anything like that. But just the fact that you have all of these people dancing to this Spanish lyric song in the 50s, that jungle music, to me, I'm just watching this like, yeah, you get it, old people. You guys are great. Keep in mind, the dad referenced this music as jungle music. That's how racist the time was. And they were listening to the song and loving it. And then you're like, yes, Ritchie Valens, he's amazing. He's a superstar. He's an American icon. Yeah. And then you realize that there's 20 minutes left in the movie and you know it's going to happen and you have to sit there and wait for it to happen. And of course, as with all things bad, Bob kicks it off. Bob ruins Christmas somehow, and then you get finally the real motive behind why he's this way.
I just hang around and take the leftovers. Like a dog. That's how much I love it. Like a goddamn dog.
Bob, we don't have to talk about this right now.
No, shit, no, I want to talk about this right now, and you're going to listen to me. Don't you walk out on me.
Now, I know I've been talking a lot of smack about Bob and the character and how he's awful and just terrible, but Esai Morales brings something to the table, brings something to this character that is just so intangible, something that you really just can't put your finger on, that makes it so great and so just so sad in a certain way. You know, you really feel for Bob because, you know, you heard the first part about why he doesn't like his family, but then you hear the second part and you're just like, man, this guy is just has all sorts of problems, and problems that probably therapy could have fixed, but it's the 50s and they don't think about therapy. They just drink alcohol and tough it out and are awful, awful people in the meantime. And the fact that he's able to get such an emotional reaction out of you every time, whether good or bad, it really speaks to the way that Esai Morales played this character. It's really something that you just can't put your finger on when he's doing this performance. That just makes it great. And so once you start seeing Richie become his own person, standing up to his brother, you see that he's starting to make these strides in terms of what he wants in life. And one of those things he wants is Donna.
You know, I'm still gonna marry you one of these days. Will you wait for me?
Yeah, for how long? Forever?
This movie.
No. And I'm never gonna let anyone get in the way of my feelings for you ever again.
Come here.
What?
Come here, seatbelt laws don't exist yet. And they just lay it on so thick with that. And it's just kind of like, movie, I get it. He loves her. We know where this is going. You don't have to make us, you don't have to try to pump so much emotion out of us so quickly in these last 20 minutes. And then you get to that final concert with Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. Richie's sick as a dog, and just one final throat punch. One final just low blow, cheap shot by the movie. Richie, with the flu, calls his brother. It is like, hey, bro, I need you to come with me. I need some family here on this tour. Everything's going wrong. I need you.
Hey, those were your real feelings, man. I mean, we're still brothers, aren't we?
Yeah, cabrón. I'm still here. And I'm still your brother.
And it's just like, man, I don't know if this was a real phone call, but if it was, that's haunting. And quite frankly, you know the rest.
The youngest of the 3 stars killed in this crash was Ritchie Valens. At 17, this youngster from Tijuana, California.
Not Richie!
Come
Not
on.
my
man.
Richie! Mom, not my Richie! Uh,
Whew, that's a movie right there. That's tough. So my final thoughts on this, I think just starting off with the series, the start of this series, I think I'm gonna like doing these Latino, Chicano, Latin. I don't know what the name is. These movies, you know the type of movies I'm gonna be doing. I'll make a list of them maybe. I'll put it at the end of the review so you can see some of the ones I'm thinking of doing, and then you guys can vote down below on which ones you want to see soonest. But anyway, I think I'm gonna like doing these movies. You know, it's one thing to like a movie, it's one thing to be able to identify with those characters. It's another thing when those stories have a deeper cultural meaning to you. Watching this movie, it just made me think, like, why don't we have more of these movies? I know in the 90s there was a big influx of these Chicano style movies, but why not now? We need them now more than ever. Now you look at the story and you're like, all right, I've been saying a lot of Mexican stuff, a lot of Spanish stuff, this and that's cultural. But at the end of the day, this is a purely American story. Like, he was born in Los Angeles, spoke only English. This is the type of stuff that people back then wanted from Mexican people. And he was able to take that, flip it, make music that was his, and provide a cultural impact for Chicanos for decades to come. He was able to make music for both mainstream America and for his heritage, for the people that weren't a part of mainstream America, that spoke Spanish, that had those folk songs, that wanted to see one of their own be successful in this world. Like I said before, this is the kind of story we need now. You guys know what's going on. I don't have to repeat it. People think that Mexicans or Latinos or Guatemalans or any sort of Central Southern American, like, we're new here. We've been doing this since the 50s and have been successful at it. Now, another movie I'm going to do, Selena, now, spoiler alert, I have seen Selena, but it's been like 10 years, so I'm going to go ahead and do a review of that. But similar to her, she was able to cross those boundaries back and forth and be successful for both sides. It just solidifies that we've been doing this for so long, and there's more stories like this that need to be told. Now, to bring my criticism to this movie, this is not a super high quality film. Sometimes the cinematography is a little bit flat, the writing is not the best at times, but it's the actors who take that not so strong writing and make it into something legendary. This is an emotional roller coaster of a movie. It has fantastic music, super charming leads, it has laughs, it has tears, it has tears, it has tears, it has so many tears. Why are there so many tears? And I can criticize a movie for not being super technically sound, but at the end of the day, when you give me a story and when you portray a story in a way that is as emotional as this, you're gonna do well. Now, I don't have a fully functioning rating system yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 9.2 out of 10. So I love this movie. It was very meaningful to me, and it made me want to do this series even more so. Now, I'm not going to pigeonhole myself and be only doing Chicano movies, but I'm definitely going to crank out a couple of these sometime soon. Let's go ahead and put it to the big board. Big board, everybody. I still got to invent that, but I'll make a big board once we hit a certain amount of reviews. That way you can see where my tiers are for movies. Well, that was my review of La Bamba, and if you want to see me do more Chicano movies, or any other movie that you know I haven't seen, go ahead and comment that down below. And if you like this review, go ahead and hit the like button, hit it again, hit it a third time, it's a triple like, go ahead and do it. I appreciate you for doing it. And be sure to subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any of the future reviews. And if you like the shirt I'm wearing or the hat I'm wearing, you can go to mexmerch.com and get yourself one today. Lastly, if you haven't seen my last video, I'm going to VidCon! Heck yeah, Anaheim, California, July 11th through the 13th, I'll be there. So if you see me there, come say hi. While I'm on that topic, I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to Broadband TV. They're actually hooking me up over there while I'm at VidCon. They're inviting me to all their events, even though I'm not a partner. I used to work with them on my old channel, and everybody there was just the biggest sweetheart or the coolest person ever. And so I just want to go ahead and give a special shout out to Tiernan, Eric, and Alex for hooking it up, particularly this time. And then I want to give a big shout out to the rest of the crew because they're so amazing and I can't wait to see them. So even though I'm not officially part of the BBTV fam, BBTV fam though, BBTV fam. All right, that's enough out of me. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for watching one more time. And just remember to always be Mexcellent. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Bye, YouTube. Bye. Fade out.